Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Gems of War stream. So today, of course, we got ourselves some invasions, which is going to be the main thing that we're going to be messing around with this stream. Got a new weapon as well that is not too bad. It's kind of similar to quite a few other ones. It's a green-blue that ends up exploding a bunch of brown, as if we didn't already have something similar to that a billion times over. However, this is the typing of weapon that ends up doing it for a specific type. This one is specifically to all monsters, gaining a random stats effect, and it summons a random monster troop. Unfortunately, its synergies with monsters is going to be kind of average. However, one of the pretty good things it has, which we actually can't even see on this screen right here, but if we go and buy up the little tiers here, it actually has gain some of its mana back. I can't remember if one of the other ones also had this mechanic. I think one of them may have. But it does have this mechanic, and this is actually a pretty good mechanic, because since it has a 14 mana cost, that means it only needs 10 mana cost to get back up after the first cast, which ends up making it substantially easier to end up getting its full mana from its explosion. Not quite the same as like a Throw or something like that, but still ends up working out really, really well. Let me go to, oh yeah, did I go under upgradable and be like, oh yeah, I'll find it immediately, and then it's like, oh yeah, I kind of have a billion weapons that are still not upgraded. Should probably go start upgrading some of these. Actually, I didn't even upgrade the Naga one either. Some of them just aren't as good. Like, we checked the Naga one. Just gets the barrier. Oh, I guess it has barrier, but everything else pretty lackluster with it. Whereas this thing, similarly, it has two main mechanics that actually make it not as useless. It gains 4 of its mana back every cast, basically meaning after the first cast it has a 10 mana cost. And it technically has even less than that because, you know, you're going to be exploding a bunch, so you're getting most of that mana back, if not all of it. And the other one is Enrage itself. If you're going to be using this in first slot, obviously that gets quite a bit more value, especially if you're using a hero class that doesn't naturally have an Enrage, and even if you are using one that has Enrage, it just makes it more consistent that it'll perpetually have Enrage. So there's that going for it, but obviously the 4 mana thing being a little bit more important to most of the builds that would end up utilizing it. So there's that. That's the new weapon. Oddly enough, we actually will be able to use it immediately. Not specifically in first slot to utilize its Enrage. However, of course, we showed on Monday a team for the thing, and I said you could just use like any kind of exploding weapon or anything you want here. Well, guess what weapon fits there? This one right here. And then boom, we're good to go. The minus banner even works perfectly correct to what we're doing as well. So we just have this here. This ends up giving a random stats effect to all monsters. Guess what? Our restriction are monsters for the event. So your whole team, other than heroes, probably monsters to begin with. We don't need archmages though. That we don't. We would want to change this. We could do the monster hero class. However, the monster hero class is pretty underwhelming. So we're likely just going to go for some kind of half mana start hero class. Maybe just go for Titan. But Titan with Explode instead of Enrage. So we'll go for that. Make sure to remember to change it later because we might need Enrage for Guild Wars or something. But actually, is there a defend team right now using it? I can't remember. Let me double check. Guild Wars, what is our defend team doing? 0-5. It is not using Titan though. It is using Thief and very much losing somehow. We got a 3-8, a 3-12, and a 3-8. Somehow today is 0-5. Team shouldn't be doing that bad. I guess Fist of Heaven is just too bad of a option. We might just have to switch out Fist of Heaven for that team. Maybe just go Book. If in doubt, go maxed out Book if you have it, though that's like way later in the game. Especially with how little they come into the game, at least currently, until they do more to it. Anyways, we'll be doing that tonight. Purple Guild Wall. Anyways, just wanted to check the thing. So, of course, main thing, invasions. Let's go get on that. Did I put the team on copy paste? I don't believe I did. Let me just do that real quick. Also, hello Isabel! Hello Interception! Hello Nightmare! Hello Sushi Ninja! Hello Vernouse! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, let me go get the World Event team. The one from Monday, except with the correct weapon there. Oh wait, why did the class not change? I thought I changed it to Titan. I guess I changed the perks on Titan, but forgot to actually change it to Titan. Let me just double check. Yeah, I said to Explosion. Alright, everything should be good to go. Definitely have Brownstorm there, which of course will help with the troop. Basically, the way that you run invasions is hasn't really changed. Pretty straightforward method. You just go and set 2 of the invasion troop, and then you win. You basically just set 2 invasion troops with a bunch of mana accumulation behind it. That is generally how most of these events go down. For these earlier battles, we could go like with a small AoE option like Black Manacles, or something similar. Should be too much slower, just run it like this though. We have so much mana accumulation, it shouldn't matter much. Did I already buy the tiers? Yes, I had to have, because we already got the weapon. Okay, so let's go do it then. But if you really want to go rush through the first few, Black Manacles or something similar would end up doing it. However, I'll just stick with this team the whole time. Shouldn't be that much slower. This guy does have a chance to gain his mana back, which is useful. He's one of the invasion troops that is slightly less useless. He ends up, there's a 30% chance for an extra turn and a 30% chance to get his mana back. And those are 2 individual rolls, so it is possible to have both of them roll. And right there, as you can see, we had both of them roll. So, yeah, he has that kind of gimmick going for him, which can be helpful. And will definitely make invasions a little bit easier, especially if you're trying to make leaderboard or something. I'm pretty sure leaderboard's going to be quite contested this time around. What do we want here? Take that. Didn't get our mana back. No, he took my skull. He stole it. A reflection. That'd be funny if they actually killed themselves over that. It does happen. So their durability isn't that low. It is low, but their attack damage is also low, so they don't take much damage from it. So, hello, SP Herm. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, you passed me in levels the other day, too. Or the other week. A couple weeks ago. I noticed. Congrats. Big congrats. Now we're only the 2nd highest level in the guild. And over time, we'll probably be like the 5th highest. These are people in the guild a little bit more active than we are these days. Not that we aren't active, it's just they're even more active. What do we go for here? We'll go for these. Start getting the pokes. The pokety pokes. And of course, this will one-shot towers. It's kind of funny because this team is actually weaker until you get to 4 towers. Whenever you're running like the double invasion. Oh wait, he has full mana. That's really confusing because they both have like a head for their for not full mana and full mana. And it's slightly confusing because it's like it's which head is it? Oh wait, did I not get a new water? I thought I picked up a new water. 1 second. I need to go get water. 1 second. Could have sworn I got one. Maybe I left it in the bathroom earlier, I'm not sure. I finished the other water and forgot to get a new water. Which would be helpful. Gotta stay hydrated. Good old water. Alright, what do we need here? That needs to die. Now we get to cast again. Which allows us to cast again. Which allows us to cast again. Oh, I was hoping we could get the triple or the quad, whatever that was. Unfortunate. We got close. Not quite. It is possible you get lucky enough to actually turn into insta-kill or full mana back every single time. Very unlikely. Definitely possible, though. Oh, are there multiple from the guild actually on leaderboard already? That's funny. I haven't gone for a leaderboard for a very long time. It's slightly tempting. It just takes so much time. As well as a lot of gems, but also just so much time. Like such a ridiculously high amount of time. Though if there was any week to do it on, this would probably be one of the ones that would be slightly more sane. Oh yeah, Isabel, you're in first place. Oh wow. Yeah, you weren't kidding. You're in first place on leaderboard right now. Interesting. Who else is pretty high? Let's see. Who's that? Stains at, where is it? Right there, 44. Oh, that must have been one that tiers because a lot of people tied at that location. Yeah, nice, Isabel. First place. Maybe I won't go for it then. I don't want to take it from you. So we could always just tie at the same location. Yeah, congrats. Hopefully you can make it all the way to the end. Yeah, I actually, on my main account, have never gotten a power orb via an event. We need to at some point. How many gems have you spent so far? Do you recall the exact amounts? Because I know it's still like several thousand, plus all the time. Like it's anywhere from like 5 to 7,000 down. Which is still kind of worth it for a power orb, but you also have to consider how much time it takes to. I still find it really funny that this team does like horrible prior to 4 towers, and then like the second you reach 4 towers, it just decimates everything. Always funny how this works for invasions, where the team starts weak and then just gets absurdly strong every single time you do invasions. That's how it goes. Because when you're up against like the 2 troop, 2 tower, 1 troop, 3 tower, it gets slowed down so much, and then you finally get to 4 towers where it's supposed to be harder, and then it's like, oh, this is a cakewalk because it just does extra damage to everything. Like every invasion in a nutshell. Yeah, I really hope they fix Puzzle Quest 3 next patch. Based on things that are happening right now, it does seem like we're getting a patch next Monday, or next Tuesday for it, whatever day. Sometime next week. One of those 2 days, whatever day they're doing updates on. So hopefully that will really fix the huge issue they added in the most recent patch. So far, the last 2 patches have made the game worse, not better. Especially the most recent one. So hopefully they do something for it. Also, I believe the beta for next patch for Gems of War is starting now as well. Not sure if they're still taking people for it. Which means we're getting a Gems of War patch in probably like 3-4 weeks. Like mid to late September. We can expect it pretty much. No official date yet though, but that is very likely to be around the time that it happens. Good morning, Tyrian! Welcome. Yeah, my sleep was, I'm not sure what it is about Thursdays and the Fridays. I can never get good sleep. There's almost no Thursday and the Friday that I will ever get good sleep on. Not sure what is up with it, but it just never happens. Or seemingly seems to never happen. I think it might just be my brain overly paranoid about having to study in the past. Because I know in elementary school and middle school, like the amount of like tests and stuff that would just get shoved all the way to Friday was like so exceedingly high. And then like some Fridays you'd have like 4 tests in the same day. That was annoying with college as well. Because I made sure to get all of mine on 2 days so I wouldn't have to keep going to the college like every single day. I just simply had it all specifically on 2 days. But the only problem with that is some days you would just get piled with like 4 to 6 different tests, depending on how many classes you were taking and how they aligned, which was absolutely awful. Especially when they all had big projects around the same time, which during the end of the semester pretty much always happens. It took for you 560 vault keys to get Moon. Ouch. But that sounds about right. That does sound about right. Because I know when we opened about 400 something to go get the 4 gnomes, or you know, the 4 new Mana Surge gnomes, or, well, they were new. Well, they're still newish. They're still the most recent gnomes added to the game. But, I know when we end up doing that, we got like 3 to 4 of the tarot card troops. However, we still never got a single copy of, which one was it? Not the Sun. There's one of the tarot cards that we got 0 copies of, and I actually can't remember its name now. Because we got 0 copies of it, so it's not coming to mind. But there was one of them that we got 0 of, which if we specifically needed that one, that means we still wouldn't have had it after almost 500 vault keys. Luckily, we didn't specifically need it, so I didn't have to keep opening. But, yeah, what if happens? Can get a little bit unfortunate luck. And as they keep adding more and more, it's going to get even more annoying. Also, hello, Brett. Hello, Beg for Mercy. Welcome, welcome. Also, hello, Cookie. Hello, Saber2 Frat. Hope everyone's been going well. But yeah, Puzzle Quest 3 does get a patch next week. We'll definitely make sure to stream it. Probably Tuesday or Wednesday during the day. Tomorrow's daytime stream will probably be Darkest Dungeon. Probably finish that up. Sunday we won't have anything. Monday we probably won't have anything. And then Tuesday, if they do the patch, will hopefully be Puzzle Quest 3. Otherwise, we'll find something else. What do we go for here? I'll take the kill for now. Who knows, maybe Pokemon Unite will finally add Blastoise. It's kind of a meme in the community now that they keep adding all these things before Blastoise because way back when, they made a graphic that showed like, oh, we're going to have some upcoming new Pokemon coming to the game. And the very first one on that list was Blastoise. And now they've done like 3 or 4 more, and not a single one have been Blastoise. It's pretty funny. What do we go for here? I'll take that down for now. Oh wait, did they finally make an announcement for it? I didn't even check Twitter this morning. Oh, hold up. They might be doing a stream soon for it. Let me double check the calendar. Why is it not opening? Come on. September 1st. Oh, that's next Wednesday. Well, I think we know what we're streaming next Wednesday. Let's hope Puzzle Quest 3 update is on Monday because we're probably doing Pokemon Unite on Wednesday. That'd be very annoying if Puzzle Quest 3 updates Tuesday night. Because I'm not sure which one we'll actually do on Wednesday then. But, ooh, let me go check Twitter. So they made a post on it then? Yeah, there's the Pokemon Unite Twitter. Oh, wait, that's the Japanese one. Oh, yeah, there it is, though. Ooh, cool. Did they not post it to the American one? Wait, did they post it to the Japanese Twitter and not the... That's kind of funny. Pokemon Unite. Well, I know what we're doing on Wednesday. Where did it go? Let's see. Where is the United States Pokemon Unite Discord? Not Discord, the thing. There it is. Oh yeah, they did post it. How did I not see that? They actually posted it 2 days ago. I didn't even notice. Also, they already had wow. They already had 2.5 million people sign up for the mobile version of the game. That is insane. They just opened it like a few days ago to do so. That's a lot of downloads. That the game has like such a high player base already. Only problem is there's so many like gigantic creators for it that were starting like before the like very first beta even came out. And someone talked about that on the Fall Guys stream. Where like if you don't start covering a game the second it is even uttered that it exists, it's just so much harder to get into it for content creation. Unless you're already a gigantic channel or you are literally talking in cover about it the second it even is uttered to exist in alpha. What do we go for here? We'll take a, I think let's go over there. Grab the other poke. That's a lot of mana. Yeah, Squirtle's amazing. Oh yeah, we'll be doing Darkest Dungeon tomorrow. We should be able to finish it. We might even do it on Sunday, we'll see. But we're definitely doing it tomorrow. I'm not sure how much time I'll have on Sunday. Plus I'm pretty sure there'll be at least one video I haven't covered yet this week. Given that I haven't done any of them yet. Been getting caught up in other stuff. Also, how much luck are we getting right now? Gosh. Got full mana like every single time there. Or at least enough to get the battle done. What do I think about the Sharptooth invasion troop? Outside of this invasion, he's kind of meh. Inside the invasion, he's like one of the best invasion troops that exists. Which is a kind of funny combination. But that is the case. Because when outside of a invasion event would you ever need your tower troop acting multiple times? Not many. Like, I could see it maybe being okay for a boss variant of it. Or, you know, if it was to do extra damage to bosses. Because there might eventually be a meta that uses multiple boss troops. However, I highly doubt there will ever be a meta where the entire enemy team is towers, or even remotely close to being entirely towers. And that's the only thing he's particularly good against, is if the entire enemy team is pretty much towers or entirely towers. Which, under a player versus player situation, is essentially never going to happen, for the most part, at least in the current state of the game. That could change in the future. But as it is right now, outside of the context of this event, he is pretty bad. Inside the context of the event, he's arguably one of the best, if not the best, invasion troop in the game. But outside the event, he's really bad. Which is pretty much all the invasion troops in a nutshell. Because the only ones that are generally really decent, or even potentially possible of being decent outside of the event, are the raid ones. Mostly because Yugoth can get one-shotted. And other boss troops, if they ever become meta, can be one-shotted. And now that we're getting boss troops seemingly almost every season, there's definitely the possibility that that can happen. But this thing only does extra damage to towers. And currently we only have one player-owned tower, and it's Leona's tower. Leona's tower is not horrible, but it's not good enough to justify using in most situations. Like, it's not a bad troop, but it's not good enough to use, generally. And by the time you have Leona's tower, like later in the game, because realistically, to have Tarot card, you'd have to play enough that you're probably at a point where he's not even viable anymore. Like, by the time you can get Leona's tower, you probably don't need Leona's tower. It's one of those kind of situations. Where if you could get it early, it technically wouldn't be that bad. But by the time you're realistically going to be obtaining it, you're probably at the point you don't need it anymore. There's quite a few Mythics that are kind of like that, too. That are just kind of average, and by the time you have it, you probably already have a legend that does what it does better. I forgot to put the other thing. I'll take that down. You know that you called all the event troops besides the Goblin event troop useless in your 1000 troop video? There's one that has armor tier that isn't too bad. Didn't I say he was okay? There's a green-yellow, I believe, invasion troop, actually, that has tier all armor on cast. It's okay. There's better options. Like, compared to hero armor tiers, it's just generally not worth using. He's okay. It's kind of like a Grave Knight, except not a Grave Knight. It's like a Grave Knight that can do extra damage to towers. It's just not relevant to do extra damage to towers outside of invasion event, though. It might over time, but there's just not enough player-owned towers for it to be justifiable. So that could change in the future. Who knows, maybe we're getting a tower at the end of this season. Oh, there's our daily gems. Right as we're running out of sigils. That's the only problem with some of these invasion events. I mean, some of the weekend events. Some of the weekend events take way shorter than other weekend events. Like, raids and invasions were already, like, super quick events that now are even quicker. Basically within, like, a half an hour. Though an hour if we did it across the entire weekends would already be completely done. Also, one thing to note about invasions. Similar to Tower of Doom, you do have to reach a certain point to actually get the full amount of loot, even if your guild has already reached stage 12. To do that, you have to reach 4 towers. You have to reach the end of stage 7. The reason for this is getting to the end of stage 7 will give the following rewards: 65 gems and 1 orb. These rewards. So you always want to make sure to do at least that, even if your guild's already done, because otherwise you'd miss out on this. And the very last reward's the orb, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. Also keep in mind, you can reach those rewards without ever spending a single gem on the event, and then just profit the 65 gems plus the orb plus whatever your guild progress gets done. And most guilds have like a minimum that you need to do. However, it is possible with 0 sigils over the 3-day event to, or, you know, 0 sigils as in buying 0 sigils, you know, tier 0. It is possible to get the entirety of the event done. So do be mindful of that. But, okay, let's keep going. We have probably 5 battles left, maybe 7 if we get lucky. Are we going to do some token farming on stream? We'll do a little bit of token farming on the stream. We need something to fill the void. So we'll probably do token farming. We didn't do much last week because that annoying Entangle Troop kind of got in the way, so we'll do it this week. Might as well. I got a little Skull Poke, and luckily now the Skull Pokes actually kill. Wait, how does he have Enrage? Oh, become Enraged when an enemy dies. Yeah, this is slightly even better. You know what? This might literally be the best invasion troop in the entire game. Like I was saying it was before, I think it definitively just is the best invasion troop in the game. It has Enrage on kill. It has score reduction. It has a way to get all of its mana back. And it has an extra turn chance. That's like everything you need combined together. Like every aspect you would ever want for this game mode. All in one troop. Because Enrage allows you to one-shot for a lot longer range and not have to deal with the 75% reduction off that one tower. The getting mana back allows you to spam his ability. The extra turn allows you to not lose any turns while spamming its ability. And then the armor just makes sure it doesn't die once you get to the later levels where it might potentially die. Like right now it's not much of a threat, but if you get deep enough, they can start like 2-shotting you. And that can make it so they start 3-shotting you instead. Because barrier will take 1 to hit, then your armor will make it so it mitigates 1 hit, and then you get to live. So it makes it so they don't one-shot you once your barrier's down. Also, the chance that one of them hits full mana when they do their cast is decently high. Not guaranteed high, but like every other battle it should happen. And even if it doesn't, the chance that you get an extra turn so you can just go straight into mana is pretty high. Like one of them is bound to happen after 4 casts, because that's 4 30% rolls. It's possible that it doesn't, but it's very likely after 4 20% or 4 30% rolls that one of them is going to land. So that might be our last Valraven tower. Can we build a red attack team around Flask weapon? I don't feel like red works as well. I built one around blue that we'll be using for Blue Guild War tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. But I haven't done a red one. I kind of just skipped on the red one. It just didn't seem like anything could work viably enough for it without using like super low rarity stuff. Like Goblin Rocket, Nobin Brothers, a few of the reds kind of work pretty well with it. But in the context of Guild Wars, they don't seem too strong for later in the game. So I ended up just doing it for blue. We'll be doing that tomorrow night, I believe. Because isn't tomorrow Blue Day? Or at least on PC Mobile it is. Let's see how that pans out. Because I normally just use Rope Dart anyways, so it's still kind of similar premise to what we would normally be doing anyways. It's a bit of a different build. Because I would say that weapon is most similar to Rope Dart. Even though they do completely different things, there's still the premise of the teams you kind of build are somewhat similar. There we go. That is the entirety of Invasions. We'll do more tomorrow night, but I'm pretty sure Isabel would have carried us all the way there, so we won't even need to do it, which will be pretty convenient. But if we still need more battles because the rest of the guild is slacking, like all the zeros, that makes sense. The event's only been out for not even 12 hours yet. It's been like 9 hours. But actually, there's quite a few people slacking, because this is where basically the bare minimum line should be, which means only 4 people have done it, or you know, the bare minimum. And then there was 3 people that did higher. And then everyone else who didn't do enough. Maybe they lost a Valraven or something. Oh, it could also be Valraven luck. They could have gotten bad Valraven luck, actually. The people that are at 76. I forgot about that. Never mind. 76 people also did all their battles. Because I forgot. We actually got good Valraven luck then. Because there is a way. It's very weird, but in most events, it's possible to be off by 1 Valraven in either direction. Like, there's some consistency to how Valravens fall. However, it's possible based on luck that you're either ahead of the curve or behind the curve by 1 Valraven, just because of how they fall, where you could just be slightly ahead or slightly behind. And we got slightly ahead, and those are slightly behind. There's nothing you really do about it. It's completely luck based on which way it goes. But yeah, everyone at the 76 there actually did all their battles as well. I forgot about that. Still got quite a bit of invasions, dude, too. It's probably because the scoring system is throwing a lot of people off this week. Also, we have 1 person that did 0. Also, I'm literally at, like, near the bottom. How are we at the bottom of that? I guess because we haven't done our battles yet today. But that's weird, because the amount of people that didn't do all their battles for the other thing is pretty high. I'm not sure how we're so low. We're slacking. I don't know. Maybe we're doing something to do the battles wrong. It's just such a confusing week for it. I'm not sure why they made it so overly convoluted. Anyways, we did all that. Let's go and hand out a code. And then we'll go mess with some token farming, since we didn't really get to do it much last week. Flask with... oh, interesting. Doing it with Zugov? That's worth trying, actually. Hold up. I think we could make that work. Iron Gut High. I don't think we're actually doing that for anything, right? No, that's just an Iron Gut team. Oh, I wanted to save that for the Iron Gut build, though. Oh, we don't need the monster. Oh, then again, I kind of do. Someone's going to ask tonight. Let's do the Slayer class one. We don't need that one. Okay, let's go change this into that team. Alright, what do we need? We need a flask. Oh, wrong flask. Celestial flask. Much better than Celestia. Smash Mouth. Smash Mouth seems to be a pretty popular option for it. I don't feel like I've used it much in the past. When it first came out, I thought it would be like ultra meta. It didn't really get used for much initially. Even though it's still really good. Now we're missing brown. Plus 2 red blue seems very tempting. What minus is that? Oh yeah, we can double red, double green. What minus is that? I guess I might go this banner. This might be the first time I've ever used Goblin Gang banner. Which is kind of funny because we're actually using Goblin in our gang. I think we go that way. The problem is they might hard counter red. But it also might not matter. Because everything just starts going crazy. I'm just concerned with using Divinity on a red Guild War day. It's a bit of a liability. Yeah, the +2/+2 banner. Well, minus is the +2/+2 banner. It's minus purple. It's still technically the same amount of mana. If we minus brown... I think we're going to go with Goblin Gang. Because these are effectively the same amount of mana. We're getting +4, but we're minusing a color we're using. There's only +3. But we're not minusing anything. I'm just going to stick with that. And I just need to change our hero class to something that will do something. Probably Monk. I feel like Monk's the best way to go with this weapon. In almost every situation. I'll keep the blue. Alright, let's just roll with this. He has Cleanse, he has gain free mana for doing nothing, just but take an extra turn from the board. And for this one, 20% mana start for sure. The only problem is it's a little bit weird testing against something that, actually, I'm just going to do it against fire bombs. Actually, it's not even a real fire bomb. So you know what, we'll just do a warm up on this thing. Just to re-roll it, so we can get something else. The moon? The Slayer? There it is. I need to start naming these things. Oh, pet gnome. That's convenient. Does anyone in my guild know if we have a pet active? I don't believe we do. That's pretty funny. The first PvP battle we do of the day, it just immediately gives us a pet gnome. That is rather convenient. That is rather convenient. I'm concerned with how this would function on a red Guild War day. We're getting really lucky getting red spawn like every single time. Oh, what do we want here? Do we even want to throw his extra turn ability right now? I don't think I do. I want to kill that just to make sure it doesn't escape. We'll throw this down to hopefully get blue extra turn. We did not. We'll throw down Flask again. Do a Divinia so we get to do the Flasks. Get in Zugov to win. And it's a match. It works. Just not sure how viable it would be on a red day. I'm always concerned using Divinia on red Guild War day. Because the chance they have a hard counter to red is very high, and then Divinia does almost nothing. Also, we need 4 copies of this. Let me go get it. Okay, no pet is active. Well, we just activated one. And luckily, it's one I don't have max. So some people in the guild might have it max, because we're only missing 4 copies. You went 5-0 with that team? Well, Red did get Guild War Day already passed, but I don't know. It's not bad. Definitely gets it done what it needs to be done. It really just comes down to, do they have a hard counter and power for Red counter? Because if they do, Divinia is going to do a lot less, and you're going to have to depend a lot more on Flask. Which wouldn't necessarily cripple the team. It would just change how you play it until you get enough going, until you can do Divinia. If nothing else, Divinia still has the cleanse and HP and everything. Like, it's always doing something. Even if it's exploding for almost no value whatsoever. So why did I do that? I could just got Phoenicia. That skull was kind of pointless to take, wasn't it? You go with Sunspear for the Firestorm and triple damage. True. That could work. I just love the Monk because it gets the man up so much quicker. But having those extra reds would work really well for Cascades. Particularly after board clear. The only one thing board clear is on that team, Divinia. Theoretically, Flask can board clear, but it's a luck-based board clear. Because you need the 3 potions to actually proc to board clear. Simultaneously. Which is very unlikely by just spawning them. But possible. Well, that's why I use Monk too. Monk has his own cleanse. It doesn't cleanse the whole team, but it cleanses itself. Good old potion gems. Getting us that free extra turn there from a Leprechaun. Honestly, I've been enjoying potion gems quite a bit. Their dynamic's pretty interesting compared to Lycanthropy, which was the most annoying thing that has ever existed. Oh, how many copies did we get? Oh, only 1. Really? Only 1? Oh. How? Oh, wait, isn't this monster bonus too? Oh, is it? No, it's Merlantis bonus. I was gonna say. That'd be funny if it was. Given that we have a monster event going on. Alright, what do we have for, oh, it's all useless. Boo. My offers were bad too. We got nothing good. Well, offers are different per person though. Also, buying a Vault Key at one point for 120 gems was kind of like, it's maybe okay worth it. In the current state of the game, no. Do not buy the Vault Key for 120 gems. Vault Keys are so much more common than that now. Let's see, if we were to spend, let's say we were to do it for even 100 gems, just to make the math easier. Let's say we get 300 Vault Keys in a single Vault event. Those 300 Vault Keys at 100 gems would be, math. That would be 30,000 gems. Which means at 120, that would basically be your entire gem stack, because that would be, what, 36,000, right? I think. So, to get one Vault Weekend's worth of Vault Keys, it would cost 36,000 gems if you were to do this offer. So yeah, don't buy it. It's kind of like buying those small deeds. Like, you break, if you just, like, see it as, like, a few, it's like, oh, that's not too many. And then you break it down for, like, the full thing, like, you know, full deed book. And it's like, what, 7,500, I think it was? Or 5,000 something? It's over 5,000, I know that. Gems to get a deed book through getting the offer. Even at discounted price, it's still, like, over 5,000. But, yeah, if you were to buy this offer, it would cost around 36,000 gems to equal one Vault Weekend's worth of Vault Keys. That is how expensive it is in the current state of the game. It wasn't as bad when you got like 20 or so on a weekend, or 30 or so. But now that there's a 0 behind that number, there's not much of a need to get that now. If it was 12 gems, it'd be worth it. Honestly, even at 50 gems, if you could get a Volkey for 50 gems, it might even still be worth in the current state of the game. 120, not so much. And that's the cheapest it ever goes for there. Because it's one of the VIP ones, so it never goes on more of a discount than that. Anyways, I'm just clicking all over the place. Let's go hand out a code. I said I was about to do that, and then I got distracted by talking about a billion things. And let me go get you guys a code. Click save. Go put this in the code section. Go get you guys this nice, shiny, normal code. But hey, that gem key, you can use it for the Mythic coming out next Friday. 1 week from today, we're getting a new Mythic. I don't believe it was that good of a Mythic, but we're getting a Mythic nonetheless. But there you guys go. There's the... Actually, let me go double check what the Mythic even is. I actually forget. But there you guys go. There's the redeem code used on gemswar.com or to the game code section. Your invite code can be found in your settings menu. Whatever game says right over here is what you put in for your invite code. Redeem code is right over there in chat. It's copy paste random numbers and letters starting with AK, and it gives the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps. Oh, actually, I probably shouldn't say that. Saying those 2 letters next to each other, I'm pretty sure YouTube will not be happy. It was about as bad as that one day we accidentally said 3 Ks in a row. It's one of the reasons why I just naturally just say the first 2 letters now too. YouTube will eventually pick up on something bad if we do like some amount of letters. But anyways, 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. There you guys go. Enjoy. Anyways, let's go do some raid. I mean, some explore. It feels like forever since we've done a little bit of explore farming. Need to get those tokens in. Haven't been able to farm them as much lately. But we'll definitely get some in now. Still using the same team as always, just standard kind of Zugoff shenanigans. Already set to the right banner as well, 20%, or medals I mean. 20% mana start into 8 magic. If anyone else has any, oh gosh, I cannot speak. If anyone else has any other questions, definitely let me know. Make sure to go over it all. You got another war coin offer today? Nice. Yeah, they're always worth getting. Even if you have all the war coin offers, it's still good to collect them just for when they add more of them. Like, I have 90 spear war coins right now, but I still want to get at least another offer because they seem to like to add 2 at a time, because that's how many they added the previous time. So in case they add like 2 or 3 next time, I want to make sure I have at least 150 plus war coins. So even once you already have all the war coin offers, it's still good to always keep getting war coins because you don't know we don't know the frequency at which they will add more war coin offers to the game. We know they will, we just don't know to what frequency they will. So always good to get it just in case, even if you already have every single one. There's been 7 of them so far. 5 are currently available, the other 2 will eventually rotate back around. And of course we'll likely get more in the future as well. So even if you have all 7 of them, still good to get them just in case. But yeah, they're very rare. I feel like I only see it like maybe once a month if I even get lucky enough to see it. We got really good luck on it initially, so I've never actually needed to buy a single war coin yet. We got really lucky on it so far. Though with the frequency in which they get added to the game, they definitely feel like one of the most pay-to-win things in the game. Even though it's just a banner and a team slot. Obviously the team slot doesn't really pay to win you. But the fact that they lock banners behind basically money, because there's no realistic way to get them later in the game. Like, there's nothing you can do to actively increase... Actually, that's not true. You can do 3 arenas every day. There's nothing that anyone who is sane will ever do per day to end up increasing their chance to get war coins. Because literally the only way to do it is to do 3 arenas per day. And the amount of people that are doing 3 arenas per day is so exceedingly small. But that's the only thing that increases your chance of actually getting war coins. And you can do that for an entire week and still not get a war coin offer. You can do it for an entire month and still get super unlucky and not get a war coin offer. Though realistically you would have by that point. If you were doing 3 arenas per day plus, you know, your normal offers that you would have. Yeah, it's not bad to do it. I just feel like most people don't have the sanity to go through that much arena. Some people might really like arena though. I don't hate arena, but I don't like it enough that I would do it 3 times every day. Like, it's not bad on occasion. It's just not good enough to do literally every day. But theoretically, it would give you more Imperial D chances and everything. Like, the people that are doing it every single day are getting ever so slightly rewarded for it. Like, people who have, like, over 20,000 gems, then they have no clue what to do with all their gems. Like, doing arena every single day gives you something to do them on. Because there's a few offers that are really, really good. Like Imperials, War Coins. If you still need keys, the 400 key bundle, which is 360 with the 10% off on arena. Also the pets, whenever they rotate around, if you still need to get them for kingdom upgrade purposes. The pets are really good value. Also, why did that? I could just kill the skull. Whoops. Hello, Logic Slayer. No problem for the code. Yeah, anyone just getting here, we just handed out the code. Should still be good. Make sure to use it. Probably be good for another 5-10 minutes before it gets eaten up. And we'll have another one tonight in 7 hours from now. When we do our nightly 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time stream, as we do every night. We'll be doing Purple Guild War and probably messing around with something else. Maybe smart token farming, we'll see. We'll finish out a little bit more of the World event. We'll do Purple Guild War and we'll go from there. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I wanted to go over the Mythic that's coming out next Friday. Got slightly distracted again. So let me go over it. Because I actually forgot what it does. I'm not sure if I even looked at it to begin with. Let's go see. Is it actually useless? Or do I just assume every Mythic that will ever come out is going to be useless? Probably. Let's see. Hey, I spelled it correctly first time. Nice. Okay, let's go to troop spoilers. Let's go see what on earth this thing does. Where's the Mythic? This should be the Mythic, right? No, that's not the Mythic. Wait, why are the things that are coming out? Wait, what? Why are the faction that is this Friday, or, you know, 1 week from today, Friday, not today, obviously. Why is the faction to be determined? It's coming out in 1 week. And everything's still to be determined. Or are they that hesitant on it? I really hope these are good. These are all associated to Dragon's Claw. Honestly, whatever these 4 troops have will determine if Dragon's Claw is going to be useless forever or actually be useful. Because there might be some kind of dragon synergy that becomes actually viable after these 4 troops come into the game. However, actually they're all strikers too. That's kind of interesting. Because Striker is something that dragons generally don't do. They normally hit all enemies. Striker implies that they're going to be hitting only one enemy. So, I don't know. We'll have to see if these dragons actually makes it viable. It could. Anyways, where's the Mythic? Where is the Mythic? Am I blind? Where's the Mythic? Are we not getting a Mythic next month? Let's see. They want to turn the switch on the last minute? Possibly. Am I not blind? Where on earth's the Mythic? Oh, maybe it's up above the thing. Oh yeah, there it is. Hold up. Copy link address. Alright, so the new Mythic coming out next Friday, 1 week from today. We got the Ula! It's a Mythic from Glacial Peaks, Divine Fae. Which means it can 40% mana start. So, it is a brown, blue, purple. It eliminates magic +1 attack from the first 2 enemies. Magic +1 magic from the last 2 enemies. And drains mana, all mana, from the strongest 2 enemies. Interesting. It freezes and fairy fires, or it's good. That's all I needed to hear. Okay, it's actually viable. Oh, it's only when matching blue gems, though, not extra turn. That makes it slightly less viable. Why? If that was per extra turn, instead of whenever you take blue gems, that would have been a little bit more interesting. What I'm kind of curious to see is what Flask would look like with it. But yeah, it being blue gems, I don't know, that complicates things. Blue's a very weird color to get a lot of on the board. I wonder if it'd be okay with Vespera. I'd have some weird synergy with Vespera. Where Vespera increases your stats, this thing decreases the enemy stats. And if you miss your turn, you just mana drain them anyways. And you'll constantly keep getting blue off her thing. Also, you can do it with Justice as well. Is there going to be some kind of weird Justice meta with this again? I feel like it's going to be some kind of like pure blue hero weapon. Followed by Justice. Followed by Vespera. With this Mythic all the way in last slot. And then you just cast Vespera on your first slot, which is your hero, with whatever weapon that's going to be. Some kind of decent pure blue hero weapon. And then that's the team. It has potential. Fairy Fire and Freeze is a very strong combination. Freeze makes sure they don't get turns. Fairy Fire makes sure they take more damage. The only weird thing about it, though, is it has stat reduction. Stat reduction does not get increased by 50% damage. Also, if we do go the Justice build, Justice also does not get increased by the damage. So actually, literally nothing on that team would benefit from Fairy Fire. Hold up. Wait, nothing on that team would benefit from Fairy Fire if we did that. I don't know, we'll think of something. But yeah, actually Justice wouldn't work out too well, would it? Like, you'd benefit from the Freeze, but you wouldn't benefit at all from the Fairy Fire. I'll figure out something. It has potential. Like, Fairy Fire Freeze is really good. It's the biggest thing complicating it is you have to match blue for and not extra turn. If it was just extra turn, the amount of uses that thing would have would increase so much more. But because it's specifically blue, that's really going to complicate how you use it. What's flashing? Oh, Isabel did a legendary task. We'll take that. Thank you. Probably from all the gold she's gotten from the invasion event. But overall, the Mythics, it's kind of meh. It's very situational when you would use it. It's definitely a utility troop. Like, it's definitely not a Mythic you're going to be throwing in everything. You have to build some really specific teams to end up making that Mythic work. It's not horrible, though. Doomed Blade? Yes, you can get Doomed Blade value out of it. And end up doing that with Justice Synergy. That would make it so it's the only thing on the team doing spell damage, though, for the Fairy Fire. But it would work. It also gets an extra freeze if the other thing didn't freeze first slot already. I believe Doom Blade on cast does freeze the first slot, I'm pretty sure. As of one of its several abilities. It also gets the hard counter other blues on the opposing team by doing a small mana drain on them. Which combined with his other aspects would actually end up working out pretty well. So yeah, we'll try it with Doomed Blade and see how it works initially. See what other teams kind of work with it. It's definitely not a bad Mythic. It's just so situational that it's probably not going to get used much, which is going to make it seem bad. But it's going to be bad in the sense that it's just not used a lot. Not bad in the sense that it's actually not usable. It's just so situational when you would end up bringing it out that you'd almost never end up bringing it out. Hello, Poing! Welcome, welcome. Also, hello, Gem Gaudius, if it didn't say hi. Welcome, welcome. As well as Bear Razor. We'll go for Explosion. Get a nice Zoog off down. Get her poke. Get another poke. Get her Destroy down. Yeah, almost every Mythic can eventually be viable. You just need to put it with enough other viable things, and it can seem viable with it. Generally, Mythics that are better are just, you know, more usable overall. But there are Mythics that are considered bad that, in the right team, are actually not horrific. Like, look at Mother of Darkness. She was, like, horrible for the longest time. Then a team came around that made her meta, and then she went from, like, that Mythic you'd get as, like, one of your last, like, 20, to a Mythic that you might even prioritize as your first 20, within your first 20. Like, it just completely inverse shifted when you would prioritize her. Because before you would get her, like, towards the beginning of your last 20 or so. Or, you know, as you're going for the final stretch. And now it's, like, one of the first 20 you would ever pick up. Maybe even first dozen. Probably not first 10, though. There's quite a few other things you'd want to pick up first. Unless you just really wanted to mess around with the team. Which troop do we not like? Oh no, we were just talking about the new Mythic that's coming out next Friday. It's okay. It should be decent in some teams though. It's a really utility-based freezer. That has Fairy Fire. That has a very weird buff ability, or nerf ability I should say, to the enemy. It actually doesn't buff the team at all, does it? It's actually kind of like the inverse of that one troop that was useless, or almost useless. But it does, honestly, it reminds me of the difference between Vespera and Day, or what was the thing? That one troop that ends up kind of being the inverse of Vespera, but ends up lowering their stats. Can't remember what it's called. But it kind of reminds me of this compared to that multi-buffer that we got a couple months back. This is like the inverse of it, where it basically reduces the enemy stats instead of increasing your own stats. Yeah, Deo, that was the one. I knew it began with Day A. I forgot what the other letter was. But yeah, Deo. But it kind of reminds me of that interaction. It's really similar to that other buffer that I completely forget its name because it's dead content. And, well, it's still usable, but, you know, it's just really bad. And then that one. So that one's actually going to be usable because its final trait's not horrible. Actually has a pretty decent final trait. I just hate that it's blue only. Like, there's ways to work around it, but you really have to, like, actively work around it for your team. It'd be so much inconvenient compared to just getting freeze fairy fire off extra turn. Which means, hey, Queen Titania is still going to be viable because she's specifically extra turn, whereas the other thing is blue. So even though that thing does more value from its extra turn, or, you know, even though it gets more value from its ability, it's not for the extra turn itself. So it's not going to be used as much. Or at least there's a lot more situational use. Whereas Queen Titania could be used more universally in pretty much any team that needs Fairy Fire. And it will fit. Oh yeah, is Vernalis the name of the one thing? Yeah. That one thing that does like a bunch of buffs to your team. It came out a couple months ago. But that's basically what it is. It's just the reverse of it. The other one was not that good. But this one's actually going to be somewhat more viable. Just because its final trait makes up for its lack of its ability being decent. Also, full mana drain's not bad either. It has a double full mana drain. It almost reminds me of Famine. Because it has stat reduction, and Famine does stat reduction per turn. A really small amount, but it does. And just has a lot of things that just have like similarities to it. It doesn't have Jinx though. I really wish we would get a viable Jinx build again. Famine used to be a viable Jinx build, and then they got rid of Jinx on Famine. And ever since they did that, there's literally never been a Jinx meta that has ever come back to the game. The main reason for this is so few things that are actually viable have the Jinx trait on it. Because not only do they have to be viable, but they also have to have a mana drain mechanic for it to really work together. And when Famine used to have it, it worked really well because he had both Jinx and mana drain, and it was amazing. But ever since they got rid of it on him, it kind of complicated how Jinx teams work because there are no viable ones, pretty much. Like you could build a Jinx team in the current state of the game, it's just not worth it. The biggest issue with using Jinx, and one of the reasons why you pretty much never see Jinx builds, is you have to have at least 2 Jinx on your team later in the game for it to really even do anything noticeable. Because it doesn't have the actual surge chance, it has the mastery itself. And having the mastery when someone has, like, you know, hundreds upon hundreds of mastery turns their 60-something% surge chance into like a 50-something% surge chance. So you're effectively only getting rid of like, what, 10% or so of their actual surge percent chance. However, once you have a second one coming in, the amount of effective surge chance that you're reducing from someone who has around 60-something is bringing it all the way down to like almost 30 or so. So it makes a bit more of an impact there. It only works specifically when they take 3 matches though, so even then it's still not huge. But when combined with mana drain, it can start to make an impact. Like, you definitely notice how much less you get mana surges against double Jinx. Also, one interesting thing about Jinx as well is it does take place at the beginning of battle, so you cannot stun the Jinx trait because it already takes effect the second the battle starts. So there's no way to counter it once it's done, which is probably one of the reasons why they end up nerfing Famine too. Especially because there was no need to mana drain at the time, so there's literally no way to counter anything. But the only problem is they over-nerfed it so much with everything that now Jinx teams just don't even exist anymore. And they haven't for like 3 or 4 years now. It's basically a mechanic that exists within the game that's just never used. Because there's no viable way to use it in the current state of the game. It'll be interesting to see if we eventually get it back. They just need to add a bunch of mythics that have a good version of it, also having mana drain. Problem is we've been getting almost no troops that actually have it. Like, let me go look at every mythic that currently has Jinx. I'm pretty sure the list is less than 3. And of those 3, I'm pretty sure, like, maybe 1 is viable. But if I go to, looking for order. If we do it based on base rarity, and then we click on Jinx. How many mythics are there? Oh yeah, I forgot Zugaf has it. So yeah, there are only 2 mythics currently within the game that have Jinx. And only one of those 2 is viable. And it doesn't have a mana drain attached to it. It's Zugaf. I actually forgot Zugaf has it. But, yeah, Zugaf and Tanya are the only 2 mythics in the entire game. There are literally a total of 0 legends that have it, which is also pretty impressive. there are 0 legends in the entire game that have Jinx, somehow. I never even noticed that. It is the only rarity that does not have Jinx. Because Rare has it, Ultra Rare has it, Epic has it. Actually, Epic has the most of them, oddly enough. Epic has like, actually does it? It has 5. Epic has 5. Ultra Rare has 1. Why wouldn't it let me go down? That was weird. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, interesting. Ultra Rare has the most of them. That one has 4. Oh, sorry, that's 3 again. And only 2 on their common. Well, yeah, that's funny. Treasure Gnome actually has it. But yeah, 2 Mythics, 0 Legends. That's why there's no Jinx builds. Zugaf's the only viable troop out of any of them that has it. Technically, Arenas isn't useless. Nobin Brothers isn't useless either, necessarily. But a lot of these troops would never get used together. Like, the only 3 of these that are even remotely usable, well, maybe 4, is Zugaf, Arenas, Green Slime, and Nobin Brothers. And of those, the only one that's super viable is Zugaf. And he has no mana drain. Actually, all of these don't have any mana drain. Not a single one of these do. And that's the big issue with Jinx currently. No mana drain, no legends, 2 Mythics have it, of which only 1 is viable. That's why you never see Jinx builds. It's almost like they forgot the trait even exists within the game. Let's see. Which is funny because for the longest time it seemed like they forgot about Inscribed. And then out of nowhere they just started remembering like, oh yeah, Inscribed exists. Let's start putting this on everything again. Especially when they were doing the golems. So it kind of makes sense that the golems would have it. Is it possible to do the City of Thieves without any potions? Yes. Oh yeah, technically yes. It's not the easier. It's a great farming faction, and there's a lot of viable teams that can get all the way to the end, or farm specific locations within it. However, the Pure faction is not one of the easier ones. It's not one of the harder ones either. It's kind of mid-range, but doing it without potions is definitely pretty luck-based. Like, you have to build up stats on the one troop and then get really lucky skull spams off the skull spammer. It's definitely possible to get away with it, though it's not one of the easier ones to get away with it on. But it's definitely possible. Well, technically every Pure faction is possible with no potions, but it's mid-range on difficulty. It's not going to be the easiest of times, but it's not the hardest one to try to do without it. It would definitely take multiple attempts. Luckily, it's a 3-room finish, so you only have to go through 1 intermediate room. And I believe that intermediate room could be a treasure room as well, so if you get really lucky, you just get a treasure room leading into it and be good to go. Oh yeah, getting a Cedric would be kind of interesting for that place, because there's a lot of gold boost ratios, and if you get a Cedric, you're gonna have like 1 billion gold. So yeah, getting Cedric would definitely make it quite a bit easier. Almost forgot about that. And the chance to get Cedric's pretty high. And there's also a chance to get a treasure room as your room connecting the room to the final. There's 2 tier 5s they have to go through, but if I'm not mistaken, that tier 5 is possible to be the Death Mark tier 5. Which would not only make it easier to get there, but it would also make the final battle so much easier because you Death Mark every skull. There's a lot of treasure rooms there, so there's so many extra bonuses that you could take, like Agile, Death Mark on skull, extra gold from Cedric, that those things, if you get past those battles, will basically carry you through the rest of the dungeon, or the delve. There's just so many benefits that you can end up getting from it. Yeah, 200 Horde should be enough. 200 Horde can get most factions done with enough attempts. It's a pretty decent handful of stats, especially if you have the extra 50% on top of that from the leveling of the kingdom. They sure like to repeat titles for events, have they? Is it not a same? Is it not a different title? I didn't even notice. What's the title? Let me double check. Do we already have the title? No, we'd have to go through so many titles to really check. But I don't recall them ever repeating a title. What's the title for Invasions? Unless you mean the other one that's up. We get, I can't even read that. Sudden but immediate inevitable betrayer. That's funny. But I'm pretty sure that one didn't exist. Unless you meant the other one. I don't think they've ever repeated a title, have they? I don't recall any of them ever being repeated. There's always a unique one there. It better be. It's literally just a few texts of lines, or lines of text. Yeah, Sharptooth's a really good invasion troop. We were just talking about that earlier. He's arguably the best invasion troop in the entire game. So definitely enjoy the ultra easy invasion this week. They have done multiple repeats? I haven't even noticed. That's unfortunate. Especially since that's one of the easier things to get as well. Because all you have to do is complete out the event and then boom, you get it. And most guilds are completing out the event. Or, you know, most active guilds. Because if everyone in your guild buys tier 3 to get the weapon, and everyone does their battles, you already got the entire event completed. Like, easily have the entire event completed. Like, that overshoots it. So it's normally pretty easy to hit whatever the objective is by the time Sunday rolls around. As long as everyone's doing at least the bare minimum of tier 3 or so. And that's not even how many battles are needed. You can normally do it with even less if everyone in your guild is participating every day. I believe you could even get the event done with almost 0. Or maybe tier 1 or something. Oh, of course, tier 3 is worth it for the weapon or whatever unique things normally around. And even on Monday, even though there's not a unique drop, you end up getting really good value on epic tokens. The first 2 tiers are better, are extremely good value for getting them. They're better value than if you were to get the offer for them. The 3rd tier starts to go down a bit in value. And beyond that, you'd never really need to go any further than that. So you're going for a leaderboard or something similar. Yeah, pure factions are really, really luck-based. Some are less luck-based than others. But all of them require some amount of luck. I don't mind it as much. Like, I've been getting back into Darkest Dungeon a bit recently, as you've probably seen from our multiple streams. We'll be doing another one tomorrow of it. There's quite a few luck-based things in that. But I never feel like it's so luck-based that it's like there's always something that you can normally do to work around it. It's very rare that you just get like so much bad luck in a row that there's just like nothing you can do. Let's see if I take that down. As Isabel mentioned, definitely feel free to like on the stream. Helps out a lot and it's greatly appreciated. If anyone else does anything you want me to go over, do let me know. I think at this point we'll probably just do a little bit more token farming and then probably call it for now. Go grab lunch. I might just walk somewhere to get lunch. I really don't feel like making anything. I have a bunch of other things I need to get done. One of them being the Gems of War video. A few other things as well. But of course, we'll be back in 7 hours for our normal nightly stream. I was hoping we could get at least an Anu or a Nisha. Game is not being lucky to us. If you get a new cat, you'll name it Sharptooth. Oh, that's pretty adorable. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get pets again anytime soon. If I do, I kind of want to get chickens. Multiple chickens. So probably 2 or 3. Not more than that. That starts to get too many. 3 is probably like the nice, like perfect spot for how many you would want. Because 1 and the chicken would get lonely. 2 and the 2 will just get in too many fights with each other. But then when you have 3, it's just the perfect number. There's not too many eggs. It's a lot of eggs. But it's not like so many that you couldn't like realistically eat them. They'd still be giving a lot away. If I ever get a pet again, it's either going to be 3 chickens, a Persian cat, or I'm not sure what else. There's a lot of interesting pets. I'm not sure I would want a bird that can actually like properly fly though. Like chickens are nice because they can't really fly enough to really run away. Like they can fly, but they don't like fly. Like they don't fly like a pigeon would, or you know, like a crow or something like that. They fly like a dodo that learned like to fly yesterday. Like they can physically fly, but it's more like very high leap into big glide. More so than flying. It's hard to describe. Like they're not a flightless bird, but they are very horrifically bad at flying. They're like a D tier at flying. Like they can fly, they're just very bad at it. Compared to what you would think of a flying bird to be. Yeah, if I was to ever get like a small flying bird, I'm not sure which one it would be. I used to have the one, a finch, I believe it was? Or there's one with red lips. That kind of looks like a Pikachu. That is the only small flying bird I've ever had. I was really young when I had that. Mostly because Pokemon was big at the time, and obviously we couldn't get an actual Pikachu. So they were like, oh, this thing has red cheeks, let's get this. Which was really funny. This is pretty much the only animal that has red cheeks in real life. I forget what it's called. It's one of those like small finches. I think it has a proper name. It's like a something finch. It's like yellow with red cheeks, and I think its body's like green or something. But I think the coloration is slightly different for some of them. Because if I ever did get like a really small bird, I want to have it so it couldn't like really peck you. Chickens aren't too bad for it, but I would hate to have a bird that is like large enough where their peck would like literally like cut you. Because some of their beaks are like ridiculously strong on some bigger birds. Like a chicken still hurts if they peck you, but they're generally tame enough that they're not going to. Hey, we got an Anu. Oh, we finally got something useful. Yeah, that sounds correct. I know it's some kind of finch. There's like so many different breeds of finches. But it was some breed of finch. They're pretty cute. They don't grow too big. They stay nice and adorable. They can't possibly peck you to death. Let's see, I'll take that down. Don't eat the bird. The bird is for petting and for watching. It is not for eating. I would never want to get a super noisy bird, though.
Or any of those birds that would like mimic what you say. That'd be pretty funny. Because it would sound like I would have a live stream constantly going if we had a bird like that, like a parrot or something similar. Like one of those birds that just like mimic like actual words to make sounds. Because then it would sound like we're constantly live streaming 24/7. That would actually be really funny. I could train the bird to live stream for me. Could you imagine that? If it picked up on so many things, like the hello everyone and everything else, then we just put the bird there and it could do commentary for like a minute. That would be absolutely hilarious. Though also probably near impossible to train it properly to do that. If I get a finch, name it Edith. What are my thoughts on the next Friday Mythic? Oh yeah, we did go over that a little bit. It's not bad. Fairy Fire plus Freeze is really good. The main thing holding it back is that it does it only for blue. It's much better than the troop that was somewhat similar to it that does a bunch of stat gains for your allies because it actually does a lot of really good disables to the enemy, particularly the mana drain. Overall, it doesn't seem bad. We're probably going to use it with some kind of, oh, what was the team? It was, Doomed Blade, Justice, Vespera, and the new troop. I already forgot its name. Seems like the team that we're likely going to do initially. Obviously, we'll be testing other stuff too. But, it seems okay. It's not like a must-have. It's definitely a really utility-based troop. Queen of Tanya is still going to be viable because it does it on extra turn, not specifically on blues. It has potential, though. It's very situational when a new Mythic will be used, though. That's not horrible. That's also not insanely good. It's pretty average. Oh, I'll go for that. If I had whole flocks of them. Let's see what they're at there. I don't know, birds are a weird pet to have. There's a lot of really exotic species of them. I definitely would never want to get a dog, which is annoying because that one dog that my mom has that she's basically been babysitting, she's going to be babysitting it for like 2 months straight soon. And I absolutely hate that dog, and it hates me. We have a mutual hate towards each other. Let's see. We'll take that down. I've never been a dog person at all. I'll take that down. Actually, that's enough to kill, isn't it? Take that down. I definitely would never get a reptile, though. If I was to ever get a pet. I used to somewhat have frogs and turtle. Because it was easy enough to contain them in the yard. Because they kind of just made shelter there. So I could just visit them and then, you know, interact with them. They're more so wild ones, but they were still technically pets because they kept going back to the same location. So if I ever wanted to interact with them, you would just go there. One of them was a snapping turtle too, but he was really tame snapping turtle. So he never actually bit. He was like one of those snapping turtles too lazy to ever bite anything. We're not sure if it's specifically called a snapping turtle, that breed, but it is one of those ones that are known for biting. But wasn't really biting much. It was probably pretty old, actually, because it never really liked moving much either. The turtles are kind of like that in general, where they kind of just lay around. Kind of what turtles are known for, being slow. They can move, though, if they really want to. If they feel like they're threatened. A flying crocodile that summons zombie frogs. Frogs can be really annoying with their sounds. They're like the rooster of reptiles. There was a bunch of them when I was seeing family too. Like at night, all you would hear is just a billion frogs. Those like really loud ones. Not sure what breed they were, but they're the annoying frogs. The annoying frog breed. Like some frogs don't make a lot of noises, but then other ones, like they're literally just at night 24/7, just croaking. Which is even worse than a rooster, because at least a rooster waits till the sun rises, or until you provoke it by making sounds, which makes it think that's you know, that's morning. But frogs do it at night, which is really annoying. Rooster just wakes you up as an alarm clock. But frogs start pretty much whatever they feel like, and normally only at night. I've actually had quite a bit of pets in the past. My favorite fish definitely is a koi. Out of every single one I've had, they just grow really nicely. Goldfish reproduce like crazy though. I'm pretty sure most would, but the ones I specifically had, they really like to reproduce. The koi didn't really do it that much, like at all. Probably because there were so many goldfish doing it. Had a few others as well. The kois have definitely been my favorite. They nibble your fingers for food. Well, most fish do that, but they're big enough that it actually like makes an impact. They don't have teeth, so they're not gonna like bite you. They're not like beaked birds or other creatures that could possibly even try to bite you. They could go as hard as they possibly could, and it just feel like your fingers being pinched. I was like, hello, Orange, welcome. Can pets eventually be considered pets if you eventually eat them? I would never eat them. You do not eat the fish. They are for petting and feeding. And for watching. They're probably the most fun to feed, though. Out of, like, feeding any kind of animal, fish are probably up there as far as, like, one of the funnest ones to do it for. Mostly because they like to nibble your fingers. And you can literally just like put it into their mouth while they're nibbling your finger. Like literally just hold it in your hand. And they have to like, you know, take it out of it. And they will try. And if there's multiple rounds, they'll all try it at once. It's pretty funny. Especially with koi because they're so large that only like a few of them can even like do it and they just like flop on each other. It's pretty funny. Honestly, their tails lash pretty hard too. Like not enough to hurt, but like you feel it. When there's a couple of them like all in one area, they're like lashing around with their tail. Tail fin thing. No, it's not a fish tank. I kept it in a pond. I did used to have fish tank fish. I forget what a lot of them were called, though. I think one of them was like an angelfish or something, and a few other ones. They're like kind of generic ones that you would have in a tank. I forget what most of their species were. The only ones I had in the pond, though, were the goldfish and the koi. Initially, the numbers were even, but then the goldfish reproduced like crazy. And it became like 10 to 1 for goldfish relative to koi. It started even. And then we had like over 100 goldfish. I think we started with like a dozen. Man, I've never actually had a proper fish tank before. Like a really large one. Like I've had like small like container like things that acted like somewhat like a fish tank, but weren't necessarily like, you know, what you'd consider like a fish tank to actually be. But the pond was pretty large. Like it was almost swimming pool size. Well, maybe not swimming pool size, but it was large. Maybe more like large hot tub size. Not actually a hot tub though, obviously. I'll catch you later, Cookie. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day. I'll probably be calling it for lunch soon, too. I got at least one more good token. You overfed it to death. I used to have hermit crabs that I used to probably overfeed. It's funny because it used to climb up my dresser. And there's actually still a scratch mark on it. I'm not sure if that dresser's still in storage, but there's like a little red scratch mark on the dresser, not because of its blood or anything. I'm not sure if it has red blood, but I guess most red blood would be red because of when it gets exposed to oxygen. But it was from its claw, because it, you know, it's like a reddish color, the hermit crab itself, and it was climbing my dresser, and it somewhat fell when it was trying to go really, really high on the dresser. Because I was trying to see how far it would go, and it lost its grip when it was going on like the more solid part of it compared to like the lacing, because it was like one of those I don't know, what's that like lacing thing of wood? I'm not sure what it's called, but it's kind of like a weave, but then it goes to like a solid just like bar part, and it couldn't really get properly up that, and then it ended up slipping and left a little red mark on it. It's pretty funny. It didn't die from that though. It might have gotten injured possibly. It didn't die though. Died like a year later probably. It lived for quite a while, at least for hermit crab time. I'm pretty sure they only lived for 5 years, I want to say. I think most of the ones I had for a few years or so. Mostly because most of them are already in their lifespan, so they could be a little bit bigger, rather than those like little mini ones. Yeah, a rattan dresser. Yep, that's exactly what it was. A white rattan dresser. With a red hermit crab scratch on it. I still have a random chopstick as well. I should show it on stream. I have a chopstick that I've owned for almost my entire life that I've kept around. I always like twirl it around whenever I need to like focus on something. I used to do it a lot in elementary school. And I actually still have that one single chopstick. It's probably the only item I've held for such a long time. I think I've owned it for 20 years almost now. It's been a really absurdly long time. The reason I've held onto it is it felt like the perfect chopstick, so I just kept holding onto it, and then, boom, I still have it. Like, it just felt like the dimensions on it just felt so good when you, like, first picked it up, and I was like, I'm gonna keep this chopstick. And then I'm still, to this day, have kept that chopstick. Just has the most perfect dimensions. I don't use it for chopstick things, though. It just kind of sits there. Which I'm pretty sure I still have in that drawer. I must as well get it right now. I still have it to this day. There it is. Yeah, you can kind of even tell from the wood, like how long I've had it. But this chopsticks is around 20 years old. I don't know, I just really like the dimensions of it. It just works well. Yeah, I used to twirl it around. It has like a nice weight to it. It just helps me focus on thinking. I don't use it that much for that purpose anymore, but it really helped me when I was younger. It works pretty good for it. Also makes sound when you end up hitting. Also, one really funny thing I used to do when I was younger too. I forget what they're called, but you know those like dream things to like figure out like if you're in a dream or not? I actually used to like legit use this for this when I was really young without even knowing that like an object like that's a thing. Because it makes a certain noise when you're like tapping on objects, or you know how you normally would with like a drumstick or anything like that. And in dreams, you would never get that kind of noise out of an object like this. So it's very easy to tell on if it was or wasn't. Because that was a problem when I was like super younger, and I was like trying to figure out like a way to figure that out. Like, am I in a dream or not right now? Like when I was super young, like 5. So yeah, this might actually be 21 years old. It's at least 20 years old, this chopstick. It's really old. But yeah, it was like without even really realizing like the concept of that, I just like found an object and it's like, oh, I will just use this. And if I just hit stuff, it'll make a noise. And if that doesn't happen or you know, that noise wouldn't happen in a dream because it doesn't have that much awareness to make the proper sounds of how many sounds you can make out of it by tapping things in different ways and by holding it differently. Like it would just make the same sound for almost every kind of tap or like barely vary in it. But you can do so much more in real life that a dream would never replicate properly. So yeah, I used to use it for that. A very weird story for it. But yeah, this thing's like 21 years old, this chopstick. Still have it, never getting rid of it. I'm pretty sure it's the object I've held literally for the longest out of anything I have ever owned. I was not sure if I've ever mentioned it on stream either. I think I've made mention of it, but never actually showed it. Even though it's just always been there. Well, let me go put it back to safety. Oy. Do I have drumsticks as well? I used to when I used to play percussion and stuff. That's probably what got me into percussion too. I used to have quite a few drumsticks. I don't do percussion or anything related to it anymore though these days. That was mostly a high school thing. I did a little bit in middle school too and a little bit in elementary school, but it was mostly in high school. Because I used to be in marching band for it as well, pep band, did a lot of things during late middle school and high school years for it. I haven't really touched it much since. Used to do solo competition and everything. That's how we got our name of Tacit as well. We had a whole story on that. Not gonna re-say it right now though, we said it so many times. One story per day. I'm pretty sure most of you already know the story anyways. I'll say it again at some point again. But anyways, does anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, I think we might start wrapping up soon. Starting to get a little nibbly. You use a fidget spinner to concentrate. Oh, that's pretty nice. That's kind of what they're actually made for, isn't it? Even though everyone was just kind of doing it for other stuff. Can I still play drums? Physically, yes. To any degree that would be competent these days. Kind of meh. Drums were never really an object I played too much though. Or, you know, like a full drum set kind of thing. Because it requires a lot more improv normally than other instruments. And that kind of aspect for it made me a lot worse at it because I'm not too musically inclined. Like, I'm really good at just, like, reading just straight sheet music and stuff like that. But when it comes to, like, actually improvising and stuff like that, my brain's like, nope, don't function. Not musically inclined. At least not enough to make it work. But when it came to just, like, straight up reading music and stuff like that I could easily do and other things like that. But, normally most roles you'd have to do on drum set require some amount of improv. Especially if you're doing jazz or something similar. There's quite a few genres where you would need to improv quite a bit more as well. Oh, you don't know the Tacit story? Okay, fine. We'll end on the Tacit story real quick. So, in high school, I used to do solo competition for percussion. And one of the solo competitions I end up going to, they generally have terms that you have to do for one part of the competition. You normally have to read some sheet music, you have to do a bunch of skills, you have to sometimes do a pre-arranged piece that you have to study for. And they also have a term section normally. And one of those terms, basically the only thing I got wrong during one of the competitions, like pretty much everything was flawless, but I missed one of the terms because I wasn't studying for. I was studying for, you know, other things I had to do for school. It was just more like a side thing that I was doing. And it was more focused on, you know, actual studying for actual classes, and wasn't really paying as much attention to the terms. And the only term I got wrong was tacit, which just means silence. And because I was so quiet and everything in school and really introverted and still kind of am to some degree, my nickname basically ended up becoming Tacit during high school. And I just figured, I might as well keep that nickname. And to this day, we still use that nickname for pretty much everything online. So it ends up working out pretty well. That's pretty much the story with that. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to call it here for now. We will be back tonight, same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's about 6 hours from now. We'll have another redeem code then. We'll mess around with Purple Purple Guild Wars, and finish out the World event, or at least get more progress on it, and kind of go from there, and maybe chat some more. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Feel free to leave a like on the stream. Helps out a lot and is greatly appreciated. We'll be back in about 6 hours from now, as we always are every single night. But why the terror? That's a different story. We'll mention that later. That is a much more elaborate story that we actually have not said on the channel yet. Mostly because it's way too overly convoluted to really go over. That's a topic for a different time. But yeah, we've always gone over the tacit part. The second part, I don't think we've ever once even went over. But we will at some point. I'm just trying to think of a way to structure it that wouldn't take forever to explain. Like ideally under 10 minutes. And I just never bothered getting around to it. But we will eventually. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.